control the vertigo.
Welcome to Anthologic, the TV anthology podcast. I am your host, Mark. Anthologic is a podcast dedicated to exploring the good, the bad, and the odd of horror, science fiction, and the best of mystery suspense anthology shows and series on TV. Join me as we slip through the cracks of reality to approach the extremes of experience, where we can peruse the stories and art of a sinister fairground of strange and wonderful rides. And now we go on to the show that is the focus of this particular episode. Welcome to this episode of Anthologic with your host Mark. Today it's going to be a pretty short one. I know they're all pretty short, but this is going to be shorter than usual because there really wasn't much information about this particular one. I'm covering a series called 50 States of Fright. This is an horror anthology, and it's developed for the QB platform. The QB platform is a specific American streaming service that specialises in short form content. It's really developed for mobile device stuff. I believe it's still going as a channel. Now this one, it's got an interesting concept. The idea is it's going to cover one state at a time, covering a urban legend or story based either around that state or the state and some states nearby, but localized, basically horror stories. It did occur to me that if they did this in the UK, this would be amazing. Wales alone has hundreds of these, not just urban legends, but monsters and mythical creatures, and it would be quite cool. Anyway, let's get back to this one. This was USA, 50 States of Fright. It first aired, season 1 started airing on April the 6th, 2020. There's been 2 seasons so far. And the second season was also in 2020. It started airing, so they produced 2 in quite a quick turnaround here. Now, as I say, each story concerns a particular state of the USA. However, the stories aren't particularly long. This is a short form platform, so what they're doing is cutting up the stories into sections. So basically, for example, the one I'm going to be talking about was actually 3 parts. Even though in total length it was probably about 22-23 minutes. So each length is 8 minutes. I think the format I used, it was something like 8 minutes for the first part, 10 minutes for the second, and 6 for the third. Presumably that equates to the acts somewhat, but who knows. Season 1 consists of 14 different episodes, but there are only 5 states. The 5 states covered in season 1 are Michigan, which is the one that we're going to be talking about, Kansas, Oregon, Minnesota, Florida. And season 2 consisted of 10 episodes, and that covered the states Iowa, Washington, Colorado, Missouri. So kind of interesting. Some of the stories are 2 parts and some are 3, just so you get an idea. I presume the 2-part ones are a bit shorter. I'm not really sure. Presumably they're trying to keep to a certain minimum, probably a maximum of 10 minutes from the look of it. Now this first story is the one we're talking about tonight. It's called The Golden Arm. Michigan, directed by Sam Raimi and written by Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi. This one was the one that premiered on April the 6th, but then the subsequent ones were like April 7th, April 8th, April the 9th, and so on. It all entirely aired or was available by April the 22nd, so you kind of get the idea. And the second season ran from late September to 1st of October, so that was only over a few days that became available. I don't know. I couldn't find out if there's any plans for any more. I like the concept. I think it's a great concept. And so they've covered, about 10 states or so far. So there's plenty of mileage with the concept if they continue going. And I bet there's some great urban legends from certain states as well. So the Golden Arm, I think the basic premise of the Golden Arm is, I think it's an urban legend, one of those, might be one of those tales by the campfire sort of things, of someone who loves their golden arm and being buried in it, but someone digs it up to take the arm, and the vengeful ghost stroke ghoul or corpse or zombie, whatever you want to call it, comes up to retrieve back the thing they love. It's kind of a story about greed in a way, or coveting something. This one's quite well made. I mean, it's Sam Raimi, so it doesn't stint on both the sort of tension or the shocks, and all the blood, indeed. And I quite enjoyed it. The actors I didn't know, and it was only like 2 or 3 actors really in the whole thing. And it was, the effects were great. And essentially, a woman who thinks she's really beautiful. She's married to a guy who's a simple guy who does tree work, tree felling, that sort of thing. But the problem with her is she loves beautiful things, so she keeps spending beyond their means to buy things. But because he loves her so much, and she is beautiful, he kind of allows it to go and just works harder. But one day, an unfortunate accident. I won't go into the specific details, but I will be giving the story because it's an urban legend. You probably know it, right? An accident happens involving her. He has to use her in his work because the other guy doesn't turn up, and he needs the money to pay for stuff that she gets. But she has an accident which crushes her arm, her right arm. And he keeps trying to find a replacement for it, and she hates all of them. But in the end, she decides the certain arm she wants it, but in gold. So obviously a lot of money. So he goes into like further, deeper debt, remortgaging stuff just to get this golden arm, which she loves, and she won't take off. But then she starts getting sick, and it turns out it's a reaction to the gold. But she refuses to remove the arm. She will not do without that arm. And in the end, it kills her. He, meanwhile, is in loads of debt, knows that she's been buried. Well, a lot of dying wish was like she gets buried with the arm and no one else can have it. But he kind of digs it out to take the arm, but her vengeful spirit returns. That's the kind of premise. A real campfire story, it's an EC comic kind of thing, and I suspect they're all like that, given the short form. Which is very impactful. You don't need much character development there. The thrust of the story is the horrible revenge or things that happen to bad people or even to good people in this kind of story. So I appreciate it. It very much felt like Creepshow kind of vibe, is how it felt. And I greatly appreciate it. I did like this. The actors involved, as I said, didn't recognise them, were Rachel Brosnahan as Heather, Travis Fimmel as David, the main characters, and John Marshall Jones as Andy. But other stories include slightly more well-known actors: Ming-Na Wen, Karen Allen. There's another one I recognised, Christina Ricci. Those are the sort of people that are involved in some of the productions, and I greatly enjoyed this. I would recommend it, and I probably will watch all of these at some point. I enjoyed this a lot. So, yes, big recommend from me. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube, but there's certainly trailers on YouTube, so you can get a gist of it. But yeah, Sam Raimi always does interesting stuff, so that helps. But I've no reason to believe the rest of it isn't pretty good as well. So I'm and it always looks like the director writes the story from the look of it. Maybe not in all cases, but there's quite a lot of the director is involved in the writing of the story, so it feels like they give it to someone to just go do a project. And that's not true of every single one, but there's quite a lot of them where that is true. So really interesting, and I'm kind of interested in these kind of urban legends. And the Golden Army is an urban legend. I googled it and found it was an urban legend describing roughly, not exactly what happened here. And there's variants, there's always variants. Where there's grave robbing involved, there's always kind of variants of who's doing the grave robbing. It might be random grave robbers, or it might be a loved one, or it might be an enemy, it's that kind of thing. Yes, so 50 States of Fright, pretty fun. Really quite enjoyed it, and it's very quick and easy as well, so that's a plus. Okay, I'm going to wind it up there, but before I go, may I ask, is anybody out there?
I'm not.
We now return control of your television set to you until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to